at 12:30 p.m. only on Bloomberg Quint.
The Chief Minister of Delhi has not left the office of the LG for the last 5 days. Arvind Kejriwal is on a sit-in protest demanding that the LG act against IAS officers who he claims are on strike. Two of his ministers are on a hunger strike. Opposition leaders from the BJP now have gone on a counter-hunger strike. Now, while the drama unfolds in the national capital, the issue at the core of this latest flashpoint is that of full statehood for Delhi. It has been, in fact, a pain point for the AAP government since they took charge. So can political compulsions of different parties be allowed to choke up functioning of a government? Is it fair to voters in Delhi? To speak on this, I'm joined now by senior advocate Sanjay Hegde and Arati, Jerath, very senior political analyst. Welcome to both of you and thank you for speaking with us here on Bloomberg Quint. Mr. Hegde, I first want to understand, a lot of people are calling this a constitutional crisis. Is it, in fact, heading in that direction? There is also a case right now in the Supreme Court moved by the Delhi government asking for full statehood, which hasn't really made much progress in the last few months. Will we see any solution before the fruition of that case?
See, the case hearings are over, judgment has been reserved. We could reasonably expect that the judgment will be ready and delivered maybe shortly after the court reopens in July. Having said that, the question is whether the government of the day cannot be carried on in accordance with the Constitution of India. That is a call for the governor, or in this case the lieutenant governor, to take in his report. If he makes out a report to that effect and the Union of India agrees with the governor, then there may be a resort to 356. But before you come to the stage of a breakdown of the Constitution, you must pause and ponder. Could the Constitution have been worked? I think it is unthinkable that a governor of a state or a lieutenant governor who is supposed to be friend, philosopher and guide to the government in power refuses to meet. It can't be that the chief minister of the state is waiting like a mere supplicant at the doors of the governor's office. Please, Mr. Governor, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, you are no Governor General. The Constitution abhors absolute despotism or absolute power in one hand. The Constitution requires you to work in accordance and alongside the Chief Minister. The two of them definitely have to meet. Without them having met, to say that there is a constitutional crisis only one way, that I think might run into some kind of legal scrutiny, if not trouble.
Okay, let me come to Arati, Jerath, on her take of what has been brewing. There is now a counter hunger strike. Mr. Kejriwal put out a video today where he has spoken about going door to door to the people of Delhi again with the question of statehood. But this is not the first time that the Aam Aadmi Party government has had a run-in with the LG. It was Mr. Jung earlier. Do you think it hurts the Aam Aadmi politically, or it keeps them exactly where they want to be, as the underdog in Indian politics at this point?
No, absolutely. I think Arvind Kejriwal is the master of underdog politics. He has played victim always, and he excels at it. And I think that he is definitely gaining sympathy from his, these are antics, drama or whatever. But let me tell you, the BJP is not gaining any brownie points out of their Gadda agitation that they're doing outside the Chief Minister's residence. In fact, I think what the mood in Delhi is that if the BJP is so worried, why isn't it talking to the Lieutenant Governor and telling him that he should meet the Chief Minister and sort out this crisis that's been going on for the last 5 days? And not just last 5 days, for the last many months actually. I mean, this whole fight that happened between the Chief Secretary and the Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party, I mean, this should have been resolved a long, long time ago. And since constitutionally, the Lieutenant Governor is in charge of Delhi, after all, he does have, executive and administrative powers, I think, it was really he who should have stepped in. And he is the man who heads the bureaucracy. After all, the bureaucracy, it comes under the Home Ministry, the Union Home Ministry, and the Lieutenant Governor represents the Union Home Ministry in Delhi. He should have stepped in and sorted out this, squabble that happened between the bureaucracy and the Chief Minister in Delhi. It should have been done 4 months ago. It should never have been allowed to reach this point where the Chief Minister has to go and sit on dharna in the LG's office. It's a ridiculous situation.
No, and it's not just dharna. Now he is talking about backing it up with a door-to-door campaign where he will collect 10 lakh signatures to talk about Delhi's full statehood. And like Mr. Hegde said, that's a decision we'll perhaps see sooner than later coming from the apex court. But my question to you, Mr. Hegde, is it's not the first time that the party that runs the Delhi government is different from the party that runs the central government. But never before, perhaps, have we seen this extent of, bad blood, frustration, rivalry, and a logjam, really, between the two centers. Is it, to some extent, also the fault which lies at the door of the Aam Aadmi Party?
Well, the fault, as Shakespeare said, lies not in the stars, but in ourselves, in that we are underlings. The fact was that the Aam Aadmi Party came with a 67-3 majority. Now, it does not appear to me that the central government has forgiven them for that, or the voters of Delhi for giving them that mandate. Immediately thereafter came all these questions of statehood, these questions of defining it, the question of trying to say that, oh, the Chief Minister of Delhi is nothing more than a glorified mayor, this is a huge municipal corporation, and all kinds of things. Now, let me tell you, I came from Bombay. In Bombay, if the municipal commissioner behaved with the Shiv Sena mayor of the way that Mr. Bajal has done, I think Bombay would have come to an absolute halt. The fact is that we live in an elected representative democracy. Public servants are public servants paid from the public exchequer, and they are answerable to the elected officials, who in turn are answerable to the people at elections. That's the way a constitution works. It is not to say that people can sit on their hands and say, I will not work. If you do not work,
they are working.
If you do not meet your ministers.
No, that's the tricky part about this story. They claim that they are working. They've been sending out pictures and tweets saying Delhi at work. This is the IAS officers.
Have the IAS officers ever attended a meeting with the ministers who have been sworn in to work with Delhi? Over the past few, please, the very fact that the IAS officers are now taking partisan stands speaks not for the impartiality of the bureaucracy. The bureaucracy must also well consider. Maybe you have some people who, you have a party which is a new party which is an outlier. Every such new party has been worked on by the bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy has found a modus to work with any party that has come into power. It was the DMK in Tamil Nadu which came into power in the 60s. It was the Shiv Sena which came into power in Maharashtra. Given that fact, unless there are the people who are listening to signals from above saying that there is a non-cooperation move, and then to go back to the courts and say, look, we can't just run this place under the constitution, I would expect that courts would look very hard at such claims on both sides. I am not saying that the Aam Aadmi Party has been the voice of sweet reason, but I am also saying that where there are plenty of places where work could have taken place without conflict. Here, both parties seem to be working towards conflict, not consensus.
You know, I want to touch upon another point, which is the kind of support Arvind Kejriwal has received, and this question is for Arati, Jerath, from the chief ministers of West Bengal, from Andhra Pradesh, from Kerala, from various political parties in the opposition, studied silence from the Congress, not silence, I would say, criticism from the Congress. How do you see that situation playing out in a broader perspective of opposition unity?
Well, you know, regional parties have traditionally had a problem with an overbearing central government. And I mean, this is a fight that, you know, all regional parties have fought. They have fought against the misuse of Article 356, which was used so many times, I mean, dozens of times by Indira Gandhi to dismiss state governments that, that were run by opposition parties. So they have traditionally fought for, you know, more power, for more autonomy from the center, particularly financial autonomy, more control over their financial resources than they have at present. So obviously today, when Arvind Kejriwal, as the head of a regional party that runs Delhi, is having a run-in with the central government, and I say this as the central government because the LG is the representative of the central government. So when he's having a run-in with the central government, it's only natural that all regional leaders would come out in his support. But, you know, I want to go back to the question you asked Sanjay Hegde, because I think that it's a, you know, I think this really is the crux of the problem. That there has been a different government in the state here in Delhi and a different government at the center in the past. Yeah. Sheila Dikshit, as the leader of the Congress, was chief minister when Vajpayee of the BJP was prime minister. So how did they manage this, you know, how come things never reached the kind of confrontational level that we are seeing today? And I would say this lies in the whole attitude of national parties like the Congress and the BJP towards the issue of statehood in Delhi. They pay lip service to full statehood for Delhi, but actually they do not want to give full statehood to Delhi. That is why when the act was drafted and Delhi was given this kind of semi-statehood, critical areas which come under chief ministers in all other states, land, public order, police, were kept with the Lieutenant Governor and the Union Home Ministry. The Chief Minister of Delhi has no control in these three critical areas of functioning, of administrative functioning. Now, you tell me why, you know, how come, I mean, the Congress has been in power, the BJP has been in power at the center, they've been in power here in the state, in Delhi. How come at no point have either of these parties really pushed for full statehood? Because they don't want to give up these powers. They are parties that rule at the center, sure, and sitting here on Raisina Hill, they want to also control Delhi, right? Arvind Kejriwal, unfortunately, is a small regional party. There is no question of him ever sitting on top of Raisina Hill as the Prime Minister. So he naturally wants a state which he can run with powers that are equal to those of any other elected Chief Minister. And that's where the problem is arising. Apart from the fact that, of course, he's more of an activist than an administrator. But I think the crux of the problem is that his attitude, his approach to this issue of statehood is quite different to the approach of the Congress and the BJP, which actually are on the same wavelength, because they are national parties and they do and have ruled and will rule in Delhi on Raisina Hill, and they want control over Delhi.
Now, I just want to take that point a little further, the point that Arati Jerath has just made. As of now, and despite its efforts, Aam Aadmi Party is a regional party limited to Delhi. It's not like they haven't tried and will not try in the future. What message are they giving voters, even on a national stage, about their method of governance? Because even at the end of the day, state and centre need to work together to deliver. Can a confrontational and constant confrontational attitude to running your government be something that voters will want?
No, I agree. And I think at some point, Arvind Kejriwal will have to work out, exit strategy from where he's at today. But let me tell you something. Why did the Aam Aadmi Party win 67 of Delhi's 70 seats? There's a reason for it. The reason is that the people of Delhi are fed up of both the BJP and the Congress, because they feel that both the BJP and Congress governments in Delhi have actually worked more in line with the national perspective of these two parties than in the interests of the people of Delhi. And that is why they vested so much faith in Arvind Kejriwal and his Aam Aadmi Party, because they felt that this is a regional party, a small party that speaks for the people of Delhi, does not speak for, does not speak like a national party which, has to look beyond the interests of Delhi and has to look at the interests of, other states as well. So I think that there is a political demand here from the people of Delhi, which was reflected in the mandate that was given to Aam Aadmi Party, that they want a proper elected government that looks after the interests of people of Delhi, so that the people of Delhi are not at the mercy of multiple layers of authority which are controlled by the Union Home Ministry.
Okay, clearly that is the direction in which the Aam Aadmi Party will push. Just to wrap up, Mr. Hegde, do you see a solution to this situation, or will it be left to the courts to finally find some kind of a final solution?
Courts are not there to find solutions. Courts are there to interpret the law as it is being legislated. And the court is basically going to rule on what is the constitutional position according to the constitution as it now stands after the amendment which gave a limited statehood to Delhi. The court cannot is unlikely to expand the wordings there to full statehood. The question of full statehood is a political question which has to be decided politically, and when politicians come to a consensus, maybe they will amend the constitution accordingly. Here we have a sort of imperfect solution which the court will which is written in the constitution, which the court will interpret. The working of that imperfect solution is left to men, and men have to be men and women of wisdom. The people are watching both sides. It is not as if they are watching only one side.
That's true.
The people ultimately are the masters, and they will speak at the ballot box.
All right, Ms. Jerath wants to come in with a point.
No. I was just saying, he said it's done by men. So I said no, and women. Remember, Delhi had a woman chief minister for 15 years.
I heard that, but he corrected himself quickly enough to tide over that situation. But I will leave it there. Thank you so much, Arati, Jerath and Sanjay Hegde for joining us.
No, but it is really, it is a it's a very sad situation for the people of Delhi,
yes,
really.
Absolutely.
Because, ultimately it's the city that is suffering, people here who are suffering, while politicians, do their dramas.
Absolutely. There are reports of pollution being so bad that people are finding it difficult to breathe. But clearly the dharna competition seems to be on the top of minds of politicians of both sides. Let's hope they find a way to see beyond that. Sanjay Hegde and Arati Jerath, thank you so much for speaking with us.